What is this place? Why are we
We're
here?
in Key Largo.
$3.3 million deal since April, and they told me they were done. Whole vibe shifted, and I had a little anxiety attack. The thing for me is I'm working on our 2025 goals. $1 million of new business per month. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I am scaling our manufacturing company from 8 to 9 figures. We make toilet paper, paper towels, napkins. I live in Miami. However, today we drove down to the Florida Keys, specifically Isla Morada, and I am here with Martina. We had some time to disconnect. I asked her if she could interview me and ask me a bunch of questions about business. I'm gonna get vulnerable, so check it out.
Can't spell us without trust.
Why are we here?
Put the lust aside of some things we gotta discuss. So close your legs for a bit.
So you just had this like super successful week, travel week. How does it make you feel? Are you proud of yourself? You're doing so much, like I'm sure you feel some level of some satisfaction at some point.
So you're referring to I was in Las Vegas for a trade show, right? And yeah, it feels really good to go and to make all these connections, but as an entrepreneur and as someone with very, very high goals, I feel best when deals land. when the money actually comes in. Yeah, like for a long time I would have opportunities that I was working on and I'd get verbal commitments on them and I'd feel like I won. But you don't. And some of them fall through. So I've managed my expectations where, yeah, this week felt good, but until I get real deals closed and money in my pocket, doesn't feel that great.
So how do you deal with like postponing the gratification, right?
I look for little wins along the way. Like if there's a guy that I was having trouble connecting with and then I finally like get through and then he likes me or something, to me that's a win. But yeah, that's really it. Little wins along the way and then little celebrations along the way too, have a small deal land, go celebrate. For people that like just save everything and don't celebrate, and that's boring. I don't do that.
So how do you like to reward yourself?
Nice dinners with you is huge. Nice dinners in general. I like being around that environment. A lot of wealthy people, good-looking people dressed up in Miami. Can't beat it. Shopping. Go get some clothes. The other day I was feeling like getting something. Went and bought a bathing suit, a little designer bathing suit.
You're definitely bigger shopaholic than I am, by a long shot.
It's a competition, that's for sure.
And okay, so it's the materialistic positions, but how about experience? Like today was I think today was a reward for both of us, and it's just an experience. We left Miami to go to Florida Keys to have like a little getaway. 2 hours drive, everything was super enjoyable. Like, does it count?
This doesn't feel like I'm rewarding myself. This feels like, one, it's like, it's a date with you, which we do every weekend. But two, this is more like getting away to like clear my mind, relax, unwind, disconnect from work.
Are you able to disconnect and unwind?
Yeah.
Or are you still thinking of work?
I'm always thinking about work. That doesn't go away. Yeah. You and I were talking about something earlier that I thought was interesting, that so many people want to be an entrepreneur because it looks like when there's success in big business and all these things, it looks sexy, it looks attractive, it looks inspiring.
It's not.
And it's not really that. It's really a grind, it's stress, it's anxiety, I'd never stop thinking about work. I'm not complaining, but this is just what comes with it, and I think that gets lost a lot on the internet. People aren't talking about that. They just talk about the good stuff,
But just like living with you, I can tell that you are able to manage it. Like you're able to manage the stress and frustration and everything that comes with dealing with a big business and doing big deals. Like I don't know how you do that with all the meditation and call punching, but you're able to do it. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think business is a mental and emotional game. Anybody can learn sales tactics, marketing, accounting, but that doesn't prepare you for deals getting pulled out from under you and things like that they're tough. And for a long time, I would get a lot of anxiety, and I would get moody, and I would argue with people, and my emotions would come out. And now, because of the things you named, meditation, cold plunging, it's very, very minimal now that ever happens. Coincidentally, it happened a week ago. I got a call from a deal I've been working on, $3.3 million deal since April, and they
I
told me they were
remember
done.
when it
We just
started.
got to a point where they're like, I'm done, I'm out. They're like, we're walking away. And my
Yes.
whole vibe shifted, and I had a little anxiety attack, and
Yes, I remember that. Oh no.
yeah, it was tough. But anyway, the point is, that's really like few and far between at this point, so it's good. It's nice.
What else are you working on? What's something exciting like that you are excited about?
Deal wise, we're working on an amusement park that's going to open sometime in 2025. Um, we're working on supplying them, so that's going to be like, think like big commercial brand, like a Fast and Furious type thing. It's not Fast and Furious, but that type of amusement park. So that's really cool. More Planet Fitness locations. We have like an opportunity right now for 130 Planet Fitness locations to supply product, and we already have 130, so that would be nice to add that up. Yeah, I think for me the most exciting thing for me is I'm working on our 2025 goals, which is to add $1 million of new business per month in
Wow.
2025. So that would be an additional 12 million
Is that
in
achievable?
2025. It is. I don't think we're gonna immediately add another $1 million of business in month one, like in January.
Mm-hmm.
But I think by the time quarter two ends, we should be at that million plus new business mark,
Let's go.
and then from there it'll hit the rest of the year. So yeah, but what we're doing is we're looking at those targets, and then we're working backwards. Like, what does it take to hit these? What does each salesperson have to do? How much business do we have to retain? You know, so it's good.
You know, like you just turned 30 a couple months ago, and you're doing business like some 60, 50, 65 years old people do. So how does that make you feel? I think you're so far and advanced in doing business and being a business person. It's impressive.
Thank you.
Like, do you realize that?
You know, when I was a little bit younger, like when I was 21, 22, and I was starting and I was working on deals at the time were probably like 100K, and I thought they were like $1 billion. With older guys, I was really aware of that. I was very conscious of it. I thought it was cool. Um, I really give my dad credit though, because he threw me into this whole thing and let me run. You know, and he was like, if you want to make money, you go do sales. And those sales meant I was dealing with guys that were like 30, 40, 50, 60 years old
Yeah.
and in this industry. And I remember being in meetings anxious because I didn't know anything. And I remember trying to like make it seem like I knew more than I did. um, but yeah, no, now it just feels good to, in life, I want to be known as a very good entrepreneur. I want to be respected as an entrepreneur, so that feels good. Every time I have a level up moment, deal with a hardship in business and get through it, that's what feels good, is I know I'm getting closer to the person I'm trying to become.
So, okay, 2025 is in a few months. Do you have any specific goal before this year ends?
I want the first order placed for that $3.3 million piece of business. So right now pricing's approved. I've got samples going to them that I brought in from overseas, from India.
Mm-hmm.
And the last piece of the pie is I need a couple things added to an addendum on a contract so that I'm not stuck with any inventory. We negotiated, what is bad inventory versus good, so that they can't say, oh, the color's off, you got to keep it, we got to return it. So I want that order. That's number one. Number two is I have 2 new employees starting in 2 weeks, December 2nd. And I want to get them up to speed. Really they have a 90-day onboarding process, but in month one, I can usually tell if they're going to make it or not. So I'm hoping by the end of the year that I know that they're going to stick. One of them is a very heavy hitter woman that comes from the industry, works with Fortune 500 companies. So she should be good. And then we have a sales assistant to support the whole team.
2024 has been like pretty life-changing year for you. You've been working from overseas. You spent the summer in Europe with a time difference, and we lived in Mexico and like then moved twice and lived in Delray and in Jersey and all of these places. So like, how do you summarize this year if you could only say maybe like one word?
Growth.
Very nice.
Growth. This year was huge. I was stacking everything you just said, like moving out of my condo in Miami, traveling. So I was stacking experiences and uncomfortableness, which is good for growth. Then I was stacking a new routine, which was waking up at 5 a.m. and having a whole meditation, journal, reading, all that. And then I was stacking reading Buy Back Your Time.
Oh, here
That
we
changed
go.
everything. I know you can't wait for
I
me to
can't
stop
hear
talking.
that anymore.
But when you
Joking.
put all that together, it's exponential growth. A lot of people pick one of those
Yeah.
to do at a time, and I just layered it all on. So, yeah, this year was huge. And now I'm trying to figure out what do I have to do to continue to do that. So, as you know, I hired a business coach.
Yeah.
I have another book that I'm reading, Who Not How, and just trying to keep pushing, taking it to the next level. I was gonna say I saw Hermosi post something this morning. It said, if things aren't happening fast enough, it's because you're not good enough, or something like that. Um, and that's the truth. Some people know how to get shit done quicker and some don't. So I want to keep figuring out how to get better, achieving more, making more, doing more.
So, who is your famous entrepreneur person you look up to? Like a superhero that you look up to?
I have a few that I look at for different reasons. For inspiration, motivation, Samuel Anuha for sure. So I was definitely more obsessed over the summer, met him over the summer, which was really cool. But so I go to him for inspiration, motivation. For real, like actual like business practices, things to apply, Dan Martell, I think is the best. He wrote Buy Back Your Time. The guys like Elon and Bill Gates and all these guys, it's for me, it's like too far out of the reach to like connect with. They're not really putting out content that I'm consuming. So yeah, I'd probably say those two are the biggest. Yeah.
And personally, like, what's your biggest lesson this year? Like, since you've done a lot of growth, like financially and business and personally, like, what was the biggest lesson you've learned so far? 11 months of this year.
It's a good question.
There's been so much this year. Like, even if someone had asked me that question, like, that would be so hard to answer with like one sentence or one word because, so much has happened. But if you want to say what happened in the quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four.
I think, I asked someone the other day, I was talking to someone that's like dealing with some stuff, and I said, do you believe that emotions happen to you, or do you create the emotions? And they believe that emotions happen to them. So if they wake up, they're feeling sad, it is what it is. If they wake up, they're feeling happy, that's great. My biggest lesson this year is that I control that.
Yes.
And I
for
control
sure,
it
100%.
through one thing specifically, which is keeping the promises that I make to myself, essentially discipline. And I know that everybody talks about discipline, but it's the truth. Every time you have a disciplined moment, your confidence and self-esteem goes up a little bit.
For sure.
Every time you don't, and you don't do the thing you know you should do, it goes down a little bit. And it's a scale that goes up and down throughout the day. So the more moments you can stack where you actually stick to the things you said you would do. I don't feel like cold plunging, I don't feel like meditating, I don't feel like journaling, but when I do those, everything goes up. Confidence, self-esteem, so that's my number one. Now I get to control how I feel.
So how do you start your day?
I wake up naturally somewhere between 5 and 7, just depending on the day. Get out of bed within the first 3 to 5 minutes. I don't wait in bed. Try to not look at my phone. I'd say 3 days of the week I don't look at my phone. The other 4 I probably do. Get out, brush my teeth, wash my face, immediately chug a bunch of water, sometimes with electrolytes. I make a coffee, and I sit down and I meditate for 12 minutes every day. Immediately after meditating, I journal, usually like 5 minutes. Then I read, anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. Some mornings I'll cold plunge. Other mornings I just go straight into work. And I get my best work done in the morning because no one's bothering me, especially if I wake up at 5. I'm up for hours before most people are up, so that's the routine. And then I usually work till like 10 or 11. Sometimes we go to the gym, obviously.
Yeah, or
I take a little break and then I keep it going. Yeah.
a breakfast. Yeah, that's wild. And how about like evening routine? What is your evening routine? Because you talk so much about like the morning, so like guide us through like your nighttime wind down.
Evening routine isn't as strict, but lights definitely get dimmed as the sun goes down. I dim the lights in the apartment.
Yeah.
I just swapped out the blue light
For red.
for red. I put my blue light glasses on. And I try to do something non-work related. Usually means watching a movie, watching a show, watching comedy on my phone, just anything to like
Kill
disconnect my
Tony
mind.
all
Yeah, kill
night
Tony.
long.
And then when we get in bed together, watch something and then fall asleep in the first 30 seconds. And that's it.
So I'm going to ask you this question that has been very interesting for me to listen to the answers of guys, right? So when you look at yourself in the mirror, who do you see? Do you see successful, handsome, young entrepreneur? What is your, when you look in the mirror, like how do you feel about yourself?
Yeah, I feel like a young, successful guy. I feel like I'm interesting. I feel like I see drive and motivation. I see big goals.
Yes.
I see everything that I've created for myself, really. Seriously.
That's great
I
because
don't not have I have insecurities, of course, everybody does, but
Yeah.
they're really quite minimal at this point compared to what they used to be, and that's because I've worked on them for so long. They're not gone. But if you asked me this 7 or 8 years ago, I didn't feel the same way.
Different.
I felt small as a person.
Yeah.
I'm physically not that big, but mentally I felt small. Yeah, I don't feel that way anymore.
You know, that's great because like you have like a healthy self-esteem and confidence, and you believe in yourself, and like you know you're gonna get to your final destination, whatever that is for you at some point in life. And just by having that belief, you are already gonna get it. You know, a lot of people don't have that. Sadly, like they look in the mirror, they think they're not good looking, not successful. They have a lot of limited beliefs and insecurities and not really like a positive self-talk, but you seem to be very opposite, which is, you know, refreshing and great. And I believe it's a perfect mindset to have when you have such big goals. You know.
I've brainwashed myself to
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
this
that's
way.
the key. Like I love that.
Yeah, when people
I
talk
have
about
to do
like
that too.
when people talk about self-talk and you should talk to yourself a certain way, it's real. Like you're kind of just you're brainwashing yourself. When I talk about deals, I always say when it lands, not if it lands. I hope I said that earlier when you asked me about them, but I always say when. You know, so just a little thing. Anyway, we can wrap it up. Thank you. That was great.
You like it?
Yeah, it was good.
Cheers.
Salud.
Salute, baby.
The truth is, we all got our own desires, our own dreams.